Mustafa, and I go to Bishop Ryan Catholic Secondary School. Here's a speech for my lovely planet and to save our climate and our environment. So, welcome to today's climate strike, where we aim to increase awareness about harmful effects of fossil fuels and why we as a community must divest from them. Today, I stand before you with a clarion call, one that transcends borders, politics, and ideologies. A call for a global divestment from fossil fuels. The urgency of this matter cannot be overstated. It is not just an environmental issue. It's a matter of survival, prosperity, and justice for all. Our world still relies heavily on fossil fuels. Despite the overwhelming evidence of their detrimental effects on our environment, the consequences of our dependence on fossil fuels are starkly clear. Rising global temperatures, extreme weather events, just to name a few. Moving on, in my time since then, I can only imagine that these issues have grown even more acute. Some recent instances being the wildfires in Alberta and the evacuation orders in Yellowknife in Northwest Territories. The window of opportunity to address the climate crisis is closing rapidly, and our inaction has already had severe consequences. Another instance recently was the Hurricane Idalia in Florida, which occurred due to the rising carbon dioxide emissions in our environment. First and foremost, divestment sends a powerful signal to to the entire fossil fuel industry, a signal that we no longer support practices that jeopardize our planet's future. By withdrawing investments, we exert pressure on all those companies to transition to cleaner, more sustainable energy sources. Moreover, divestment from fossil fuels is not an option. It is an imperative. Divestment is not just about reducing financial support for fossil fuels. It is about redirecting those funds into cleaner, more sustainable sources. The transition to renewable energy is not just an ecological necessity. It is also an economic opportunity. It is a chance to create millions of jobs in the green sector, revitalize economies, and promote energy independence. Some may argue that divestment from fossil fuels is economically risky. However, the reality is quite the opposite. The fossil fuel industry is increasingly burdened by stranded assets and regulatory pressures. The financial risks associated with fossil fuels investments are mounting. Divestment is not a moral choice, it is a smart financial decision. Furthermore, divestment is a matter of social justice. The impacts of climate change disproportionately affect vulnerable communities around the world, indigenous communities also being one of them. Countries with limited resources face the harshest consequences of our fossil fuel addiction. Divestment is a step towards environmental justice, as it aligns our actions with the well-being of those who bear the heaviest burdens. The power to drive this global divestment movement lies with each and every one of us. If you are an individual, consider divesting from fossil fuels in your personal investments and retirement accounts. If you represent an institution or an organization, commit to divesting your endowments and assets from fossil fuels. Advocate for divestment at your workplace, in your community, and on the political stage. To those who argue that one person or institution cannot make a difference, I say this: history is replete with examples of transformative change initiated by the actions of the few. It starts with us, but it doesn't end there. Our collective divestment movement has the power to reshape the course of history. Personally, I'm a big fan of motor racing. And as an example, I'm proud to see a variety of motorsports have started to take into account the harmful effects of carbon emissions that takes place whenever a motorsport event takes place. As a result, they have set targets for becoming a net zero carbon emission sport. For example, Formula One, which aims to become net zero on carbon emissions by 2030. If an organization like Formula One, which deals with, motorsport emissions, carbon emissions, and engine harmful emissions overall, I'm pretty sure every single organization has the capability to go against carbon emissions and opt for an alternative that's much more environmentally sustainable. This was an example from divesting from fossil fuels at an organizational level. Moreover, on a personal level, I've seen many race car drivers who positively contribute to the environment by, cleaning up from the stands at the end of an event, or even using a bicycle to commute on a personal basis. Coming to myself, as a student who recently graduated high school, I have found several practices across my school community that are not sustainable for our environment. One of them being the purchasing of graduation gowns for the graduation ceremony. I'll be honest, my graduation ceremony was held right there in First Ontario Concert Hall, and I never imagined that 2 months after I'd be standing right here going against my own graduation ceremony. Just to reiterate my point, I'm not going against my graduation ceremony, but the practice of purchasing graduation gowns, which is not sustainable for our environment. Upon delving deeper, not only did I find that the purchasing was expensive, but also those graduation gowns that I had to purchase were made of 100% polyester and were meant for single use only, which is not at all biodegradable. So after the event, right now, my graduation gown is at the corner of my closet, and I'm never going to use it again. Moreover, 100% polyester, it is not at all sustainable. So even if I thought of decomposing it, it's never going to degrade biologically, or it's not biodegradable. Therefore, I took it upon myself to try and resolve this issue. By talking to the members of the Hamilton School Board and also starting a petition regarding this issue, I, as an individual, plan to make and increase awareness about how the school community in the city of Hamilton and across Canada is jeopardizing our environment. Moreover, the petition that I started is available for the Youth Power for Climate Justice social media accounts, and I encourage you to sign my petition so that we can reach more people.